Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of ScholAceStic, a podcast where I help you ace your scholastic pursuits. Today, I'm going to discuss what I consider my study essentials, why I believe they're essential, and include a few fun, but not strictly necessary things that help make studying a little more enjoyable. Let's get into it. If you want to study and achieve like a straight A student, you need to have the right mindset and tools. First, let's talk about what physical objects you'll need in order to perform your best. Firstly, you'll need a place to take your notes. Back in high school, we weren't allowed to use computers the vast majority of the time, so all of my notes were taken by hand in a notebook. I color-coordinated my notebooks for various subjects. I had one binder for morning classes and one for afternoon classes. I had a planner and, at minimum, 2 pencils, extra lead or sharpener, a pen, usually blue, a highlighter, and an eraser. I also carried a calculator around most of the time, but if you're not taking math classes, you might not need to bring one around with you. When I got to college, I started in the middle of a global pandemic, so everything was online. This was a pretty drastic shift from the strictly analog method I used all the way up through high school. My essentials lessened considerably. Now, instead of lugging around notebooks and textbooks, everything was on my computer. However, I also realized that despite wanting to be one of those awesome people who use digital planners, it just didn't work for me. I ended up forgetting about it. I used it to set reminders, but I didn't naturally check it enough for it to work. So I have continued to invest in physical paper planners. And here comes the, I promise, not sponsored bit of this podcast that I tried to warn you all about in episode 1, because I wrote this without thinking about it, and I forgot that I already mentioned this in episode 1, but here we go again because it deserves to be mentioned again. I would like to give a quick shout out to Wisdom Supply Co. They make 100% curbside recyclable paper planners. They are plastic-free, anti-waste, and in case you needed any more convincing, they're both a certified B Corporation, meaning that they're certified to uphold the highest environmental standards as determined by a neutral third party, and they're women-owned. This is my second year using one of their gorgeous planners, and although, as I said, this is not sponsored, I really wanted to mention them again because I'm committed to environmental justice and combating the climate crisis, and I'm a fan of their products. Anyway, back to the podcast. Aside from the typical essentials like a working laptop and a physical planner, I also have a padded computer backpack for carrying my stuff in, a Bluetooth mouse because I'm really not a fan of touchpads, and a 1 terabyte hard drive that I use as a backup for all my files, both school-related and creative, because you really never know when a computer will terminally crap out on you. Whenever I study, I have a full water bottle with me to make sure I stay hydrated, and a study snack, such as a protein bar. These are what I would consider my bare physical essentials. Digitally, I have a few more essentials. Aside from textbooks and other online resources that you need for class, I have the Microsoft Office suite because I find it the most user-friendly, and it's where I enjoy taking notes. Most colleges and universities also offer a subscription to Microsoft services for free. I know that several people out there use Notion, which I looked into, but I had some data privacy concerns regarding it, so I choose not to use it. In my digital space, as I mentioned in the previous episodes, I make sure to have meticulously organized folders and subfolders dedicated to each of my classes and all of the digital files pertaining to them. A good web browser is also key. I don't have Apple products, so I don't have Safari, but if that's the only browser you have, you need to get Google Chrome, again, not sponsored, as it's usually where products and classes from the schools I've attended run best. I am also an avid flashcard user, and so Quizlet has been my studying go-to since high school. Again, quick disclaimer, none of the products I mentioned are due to a sponsorship. All of my podcast episodes are unsponsored right now. So, these are the absolute bare essentials you need to have to be a good, functioning student. So, what are some non-essentials that make studying better? The first non-essentials that you may consider investing in are premium subscriptions. As an example, I never used Quizlet Premium. I didn't need it to get through any of my classes, even the challenging anatomy and physiology ones. Would it have been helpful? Certainly. I could have put organized diagrams on my flashcards that helped me study more efficiently. Was it necessary? Absolutely not. You will need to determine for yourself if this is a necessity for you or worth the investment. Another non-essential, this time one that I did invest in, was a fun keyboard. Absolutely non-essential, but I enjoyed studying at least 10 times more with a keyboard that sounded nice and felt satisfying to type on. I had fallen down the keyboard community rabbit hole on YouTube and gotten obsessed, and of all the non-essential items I have invested in, a fun keyboard is pretty dang high on my list. Up on that list are also fun stationery items like nice pens and notebooks. I will not elaborate. If you know, you know. Additionally, a touchscreen laptop and pen comes in real handy for classes where you need to draw a lot of diagrams like physics or math. I didn't end up using this as much as I thought I would during college, but it definitely came in handy multiple times. Some students like to use iPads during class and then complete classwork on their laptops. I've heard from lots of people who love their iPads, and if that's what you like best, you do you. I'm personally a bit minimalistic when it comes to things I have to lug around with me on a daily basis, so I got myself a laptop that can function like a tablet or iPad. I also believe that this is more cost efficient. When I get to study from home, either on a holiday or because classes got canceled, I make myself a fun drink. I love both tea and coffee, so I will usually make one or the other for myself depending on the mood I'm in. During the cold months, I also love a good hot chocolate. When I'm at school, sometimes I'm seized by the urge to visit the campus Starbucks, so I'll grab something there and then find a nice spot to study. These are honestly all of the main study essentials and non-essentials that I could think of that I've used. I would love it if you all shared your study and work tips down below so we can all learn and grow together. I hope you enjoyed this episode of ScholAceStic. In the next episode, I will discuss various study techniques, what's worked best for me, and what hasn't, but might still work for you. Work hard, take care, and I'll talk to you in the next episode of ScholAceStic.